welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I am here.
Good, because otherwise I would be just talking into the void by myself and feel a bit silly.
Well, it's something that some people do. They do actually.
That's true. They do just
do podcasts
there are
by themselves.
Solo podcasters out there.
I would
they
never
don't
do it,
usually they don't usually introduce their co-host at the beginning though, so
No.
that would be a little bit strange. What are we doing, Trev?
We're going to go back to the old well that is 3-2-1 movie, where we take
That's right.
we take a random movie from like the top 10,000 or some bullshit from
TMDB, I think.
I think it's either from TeamDB. I can't remember where I got it from. It's from an internet movie database, and it may not be the internet movie database.
I don't think they have a public API for that, so it's probably one of the open source ones. But anyway, what are we doing with those movies?
So we're going to take those movies and either take the title, the synopsis, the title of two of them, chuck them together, the synopsis of two of them, or just throw it all away and go off the picture. Who knows?
We'll just use it as inspiration.
Inspiration for a video game.
Yeah.
So Ben,
that's right.
3-2-1 movie.
Okay. Zog and the Flying Doctors.
Ooh. I've got Renegades.
Ooh. Zog and the Flying Renegade Doctors. What a renegade doctor be doing? Just coming in and fixing people who don't want to be fixed.
Okay, so I know that there used to be a TV show called The Flying Doctors or The Young Flying Doctors or something like that. What if these were superhero doctors that literally had the power of flight so they could make house calls?
Yep.
By flying in, but that's the only superpower they've got. Other than that, they just use medical technology and all that.
Just
sort of stuff.
Yeah, they can just fly. Yeah, I like that. Well, the actual film is like some kids' film, and they're flying on the back of a dragon, so it's not too far off.
Yeah,
but yeah, I like the idea of it being more like they have capes.
Yeah,
but they're like made from like the Scrubs material.
Not all superheroes wear capes, but these ones do.
But we do, because they're cool.
These ones do, but they're made of scrubs.
Plus, sometimes we need them to soak up the blood.
Yeah.
Or other fluids. Okay.
I like it.
So, I mean, you definitely want to keep the flying mechanic as an actual, like, traversal mechanic, I think. Because when you do it well, that's just fun. Zoom around a city or across landscapes. Cape flying, doctor's bag in hand.
For some reason, I've got this picture of like old-timey sort of old-timey instruments and that sort of stuff. Got
like the mirror on the forehead flipped up or whatever it is, or
Okay, so the intro scene is literally like, an older gentleman, got the mirror on the forehead. He's got his old leather bag. Yep. And he's, got the stethoscope in, and he's doing all these checks. And after you finish that, he goes, "Okay, well, I've got to go off to the next case," and just flies off. And it's like, what the fuck?
Makes the Superman pose. No, he doesn't even make the Superman pose, because that's like too hero-like. He just rises into the air. And
he just puts his hand by his side. He just rises into the air. Relatively slowly at first, and then you just hear this
as he breaks the sound barrier. Yep.
And all the windows bust in.
And then he has to come back because they're all cut up from the glass.
Sorry. I forgot where I was. Let me fix that.
I got a bit carried away.
And then, it's, the Flying Doctors, that's
cool.
But
okay, so
I think that's just the intro, and then we move forward, a few decades where it's literally seeing.
Oh, now he's got like a whole like practice with multiple Flying Doctors, perhaps.
Yeah,
is he just teaching them? Is it just something he can learn? Maybe
it's they realize that hospitals weren't working because it took people too long to get to the hospital.
Yeah, ambulances getting backed up, like...
So instead, people who have the flying gene, they can...
Oh, or is it a bit more of like... So do we cut forward 10 years and now we're following, like, someone in med school? Like, the later years of med school and the guy... You see the guy... Well, no, they don't even know, but the guy has been, like... He's been, hacking in to get their medical records, and he's found that this is the person from this year's, graduating class who has the gene to be able to learn to fly.
But
and so it's
not
like
activated yet. So,
well, and I think it needs to be taught. Like, yeah, I think it needs to be activated and taught essentially. And so it's very much one of these, like, the strange old guy knocks on the door. Is this Jennifer Harden?
For some reason, I couldn't get the word Hudson out of my head. I'm like, no, that's an actual, like...
Well, I nearly said Jennifer Saunders, but that's the one too, right?
Yes, it is, from French and Saunders. It's Adrian Edmondson's wife.
Right.
Adrian Edmondson from Bottom and all those awesome shows.
Are you Saunders Hudson? You need to come with me.
Come with me if you want to live.
Come with me if you want to fly. and then the game, then you follow, because then you get to do the tutorial stuff, right? Basically, now it's like, oh, you're actually learning, and you have a few missteps as you take off and smash into things, and then you have, get bandaged up, and but he tells you about, certain people have this flying gene. I'm the only one who can detect it, and I use it to give doctors the ability to reach their patients faster, basically.
Yeah. Because, and I think there's other superheroes in this world. It's just that...
Oh, you reckon? I sort of thought, I was almost feeling like this was it. It's just the doctors. For some reason they can fly, nobody questions it. Or they just don't believe it.
They don't.
Maybe there's a Men in Black. There's a Men in Black style, like, memory wiper. These people just wake up and their wounds are fixed, and they don't remember why.
So I think other than that, it's sort of standard medical gameplay of them coming in, putting band-aids, fixing.
Yeah, I think you have some of that. But then, you, like, jump out the window at the end and fly to your next job. Do we ramp up the stakes, though, at some point? Like, have...
Well, I think you've actually...
There's an explosion and you have to, like, go around and stabilize all the people and...
Yeah, and maybe you...
This is where Zog comes in.
You find one of them and you have to actually, fly this person to the hospital because, it's not a sterile enough environment. You know that you got to get through, and unlike those typical flying games where they have like checkpoints, and you can see the next thing that you got to fly through. The checkpoints are there, but it's like because there's debris coming down, you can actually see. Oh yeah, if I sneak through here and then I sneak through there, and it's all about.
I thought you were going to say no checkpoints. They have to bring up their map app on their phone and find their way there by landmarks. Is there a villain? Is Zog the villain? Is there some sort of super villain that is rising?
I think it is. It turns out to be like your mentor's old apprentice, who has the power of flight.
Their only power is flight too.
Their power of flight, but they're
using it for evil.
Yeah,
they're using it to like drop things on people's heads. And catch birds that are rare.
Yeah, and fix holes in teeth.
Oh, I see where you're going with this, Trevor.
Because they went to the evil side of
medicine
to
dentistry.
I mean, they literally go flying around with drills and all this sort of stuff. Like lots of implements of harm.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing like a stethoscope. I mean,
you can hear them coming because all of their
the X-ray machine, just clanking along behind them.
X-ray machine. Maybe they should all have X-ray vision too, because that just sort of makes sense for doctors, but they still have to put on the lead apron. They can't just use it whenever and look through walls. It's like a full-on X-ray.
They pull out the lead apron for them. They pull out the lead apron for the
yeah. It's actually not that useful because ethically they can still only do it in the like X-ray booth where it's all lead lined. So it's not really useful in the field because they know they'll just give people cancer.
It's like, okay,
but they can do it.
I've got this pop-up tent here, and it is lead-lined. Can I just get you to move inside of here? And okay, yeah, so you've got a broken bone.
Yep.
I just love the idea that they've actually got like a pop-up lead tent that they can sort of put up and so that they can sort of just look in through the through the zippers. Oh yeah. But the dentist one, he doesn't give a shit. He just
he just does it willy nilly.
Oh yeah,
cavities. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them.
Those wisdom teeth need to come out, all 8 of them.
What?
He just likes taking out extra teeth. He just lies.
Mm. Oh, you got 207 bones in your body.
And he's got Toothikinesis, so he just yanks them out with his mind.
You bastard, you saw me taking a drink.
That wasn't on purpose. It was just a happy little accident.
Bullshit.
All right, let's do another.
That was really cool. I can see that's rather gamified, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1 movie.
Unforgiven.
Creep Show.
Ew.
So, what I like about Creep Show is that it's sort of one of those anthology sort of things. So we could actually play around with a little bit of an anthology with maybe a light rapper story around the outside and have it sort of mini horror based games inside.
And so, I mean, Unforgiven is a Western, or we can just take the title.
Maybe Unforgiven is one of the
stories.
So Creepshow is inspired by a comic book series. So I like the idea of having the wrapper around something to do with, Creepshow the comic being,
Also actually tie the game into that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect wrapper. Like, you can have sort of like a creepy old guy trying to talk this kid into buying this comic book, and he's reading him,
into buying this video game. Like,
into buying the
treat it as the video game instead, and then the kid starts playing the video game, and then each of the, like, when he does, it's whatever the actual sort of story, the interior game is. Okay, so I like the idea though of having some sort of common thread, and maybe with the horror, like the horror vibe, they are these little self-contained stories, but there's like a character or something that's showing up in each of them. And as you go through them, they're getting more and more
powerful,
violent or something. Maybe even to the point of like, you get into like the third story and you can't continue the story because this other character has just like killed all the people, all the characters. And like, it's not part of the game. It's not part of the story. It's just like, now the game's broken because this fucking thing's in there.
Because there's meta character, like...
Yeah, exactly.
So, not in the first 2 games, he's like a background character that, if you watch back at if you played the first game again, you'd actually notice him in the background. During, and then I think in the one of the interrogation scenes or something like that.
And the second one, I think, is a bit more obviously there, but it doesn't seem to be part of the story for some reason. Like, it's like, why is it, they never mention the guy or the character. For some reason, I'm picturing, this is not what I want it to be, but it's just because of what's sort of inspired it. I'm picturing it as the fucking dog from Duck Season. Or like some sort of mascot-y character like that.
Oh, God, I love Duck Season.
Yeah, I don't know. What can this... I don't know enough about Creepshow if there's any sort of theme around it or not, or can we just come up with random character that is creepy.
I mean, in Creepshow, they did have like a skeleton-y kind of guy, very similar to like Tales from the Dark Side and that sort of stuff. They had like a guy like that.
I reckon we have an original character then. I reckon we have something. I don't know. What's a sort of scary themed character that hasn't really been done before?
A priest.
I mean, that's maybe got a bit too many layers there. Maybe we go back to the dentist.
Oh, it's a waiting room of a dentist, and you know, the rapper is, you know, all these other people before him that he's like trying to play his game, but you know, the dentist comes out and pulls in the next person. You never see them leave. They're just like, it's like next. It's like, oh, where'd they go? It's like they left at the other exit. And all you see, because he's got a mask on, is all you see is his eyes, and they're like, you know, to this kid they look bright red.
Oh yeah, when he eventually takes off the mask, all his teeth are drills or something.
Oh yes.
Bloody drills, just the sound goes.
And one of them's that slow drill, you know, the
yeah. So and like, then his tongue is like the saliva sucker. Okay, this is a very dentist heavy episode, but I like it. That's a good character.
Okay, so what if the different stories were about dentistry throughout these different?
No, I think
periods?
that should be. I think that should be separate. Like, I think we keep it.
Okay.
Well, either they're just a character on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah, we keep it as the rapper thing of, like, literally this is the waiting room of the dentist.
Yeah.
And you're playing each of these as a different character playing the next in the series of games. But, yes, the dentist themselves is showing up in the games more and more, obviously.
Well, at first, you know, the simple guy in the background called Jeremy, you know, he looks pretty smarmy and, you know.
Doesn't open his mouth. If you get too close, you sort of hear a weird, like, whining sound, but
kind of squeaky because it's, you know, it's a Western at the start, and
yeah, there you go. It's a Western at the start. That's good. Well, and then so it's really weird that this guy's here in, like, it seems like out of place clothes. He's got like a, you know, the
doctor scrubs on,
doctor scrubs or whatever, or the dentist. Do dentists wear scrubs? I guess so.
I'm picturing that they do because he's got a surgical mask on.
Yeah. But it doesn't seem to play into the story. And yeah, I think that's a good idea. Like, it's a Western. It's like a Western horror, out around the campfire at night or something. And it's sort of almost just a linear narrative sort of thing where you know, go and tie up your horses and sit down, and then you start hearing things out in the dark. Or maybe you're with a group, maybe.
No, I like the idea of you've been traveling along, and you've got your diary there, so you can sort of see what you've experienced before, and it's just you and your horse.
Okay,
and you start.
But then where does?
Well, you start hearing things in the background, and one or two people you come across your fire, and
right,
they come into the scene, but you know, one of them turns out to be, I don't know, a vampire or something along those lines.
Yeah. Something that's completely unrelated to the rest of it. And yeah, it's sort of one of these tense, like, telling the stories and slowly coming to the realization that you're about to be hunted by this person or something.
Yeah.
Maybe you watch them drain, like, they suddenly attack the other person that they came with.
Yeah.
And you're next, basically. And then it, you know, and it basically ends.
That was good for a light snack.
Now for the main course. I could eat a horse, but that's dessert, so I'm going to eat you first.
Okay, that's really cool. I like that. Your next one, I don't know, what's another time period?
Well, look, I think you go into a contemporary time so that... Did you say Jeremy is the fucking dentist name?
Yeah. No.
Fine.
It's the background guy's name, like...
Yeah. But I think in the second one, you want him to be a bit more
prominent,
obvious. I think in the first one, maybe you don't even spot. Like, I think he's like just outside of the. I think he's actually. You might catch a glimpse of him just outside of the light of your fire or something. He doesn't even. You don't. You might miss it completely. But then in the second one, I think you want him to be there, but you're just like, why is this? That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like on a train or something.
Ooh, yeah. I do like the idea of it being on like a passenger train, traveling across a state. So, one of those high-speed trains that literally don't stop.
Yeah. And then, what's the...
I'm imagining he's in a dining cart, but...
I think he's just one of the passengers who's there, but, like, he's the only one that when you go through the dining cart who, like, turns to watch you as you walk through.
Yeah.
And I think you're having to go back and forth through this dining cart for different... Like, you're sort of solving some sort of mystery or something.
Well, you maybe you're a reporter on this thing, and you go up to speak to the engine driver, and there's no one in the cabin. Like, there's no one in control of this vehicle now, and nothing you can do about stopping the train or anything like that. And there's basically like a countdown saying that when you're going to arrive at the destination, and it's not slowing down, and so the horror is actually.
It's just that building tension of
you've got this amount of time,
and you're sort of just following leads to like, there's someone who knows trains in like carriage 4 or something. Someone tells you that, so you're like rushing past people, go and talk to them.
I think there's only like 6 people on this train.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, that probably makes sense.
Yeah. Kind of.
And you deal with all of them for solving this problem, except for the dentist.
Yeah. Which you don't know he's a dentist at this stage because, he just looks like a guy. He scrubs.
And again, doesn't open his mouth. Maybe someone else refers to them though, or maybe someone else is sort of freaked out, but like maybe someone mentions them of just like, I didn't see that guy get on. But it's incidental. It's not actually part of the sort of the storyline.
Yeah.
Because I want this to lead kind of to this guy's like invading these worlds.
I actually like the idea of no one else is mentioning this character. Like, it's as if he's not actually there and no other character interacts with him. And
I like... Well, and to bring the meta stuff into it as well, you mouse over them and you don't get highlight.
The highlight that you get with everyone
that you get on all the other characters. Yeah.
And...
I like playing with that sort of gameplay aspect. That's fun.
Especially when maybe... And I know that you said the third game before, but I'm like, what if it was the fourth game that happened? Because what if your character in the third game could actually make mention of, what about this guy? It's like, what guy? There's no guy.
Right, you get a dialogue option for it.
Yeah, and no one else in the game actually recognizes the game except for your character. And so it's that weird sort of meta thing of,
and the
not
first
only
time
you realized it, but your character in the game has realized it as well and is getting kind of freaked out by it.
Well, and again, playing with that interfacey sort of stuff, the first time you talk to someone and ask them about that guy, it's that, like, it's what you said, they just don't know. The second time you go to ask them about it, you click on it and it doesn't work, and then you click on it again and you click on it again, and then that option disappears or something.
It just goes,
or just like disintegrates, or whatever.
And then, later on it could be there again, and it's like, and you go to mouse over it and just disappears again. It's like,
yeah.
Especially if he's in every, like, not every scene, but especially if he's, at like a murder scene, and then he's at a... Because I think...
You could do some fun stuff as well. Or in the third game, you're a taxi driver. And it's one of those, like, you're driving... And I think we've sort of done a game like this before, but you're communicating to people and you just see them in the revision mirror.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of fairly dialogue-driven, but you do have to follow the paths and stuff.
It's at night, and as you're looking up in the mirror, and street light goes by.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
You see the guy. Street light goes by. You don't see
He's gone. Yep.
Street light goes by. You see the guy. And it's like, oh.
Or like your actual
Only
passenger
closer.
is...
His face is closer.
Oh, God. It's like right there. It's as if it was like right next to you.
And then it's
in the rear vision mirror, and then it's gone. And it's back to whoever your passenger was or whatever.
Yes.
That's cool. And so then you can still complete that one, right? You still finish it. It's like... And there's a horror aspect to that too. I think maybe there's just, again, a really tense dialogue scene, like you've picked up someone who's a serial killer or something, and,
and
you narrowly escape.
And you narrowly escape being killed by this person, by selecting the right dialogue option. If you select the wrong dialogue option, like the idea that it's you get killed and then, you get taken back to the autosave. It's like, do you want to try that again? And it's that meta thing from within the game. The kid's like, I saved earlier, and it's like,
right. And then I think the fourth game, I want it to essentially break, and it just feels like the game is buggy initially. Like it feels like you've hit some glitch where you've created an unwinnable situation because a character's not showing up or an item's not showing up or something. But then, like, you realize, the fucking dentist shows up.
Oh, yeah, and you open your office and there's all these bodies and that guy just standing there with a big smile on his face, and it's just like...
And then he opens his mouth. That's when you get the drills in the mouth,
And then it cuts out as the dentist literally walks in at that time and goes,
it cuts out, or like it comes back from the screen. You're back in the dentist office. You've stopped playing this game, and then and then he turns to him, and it's the same guy.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, your turn. Your turn in the dentist chair. And you just hear the drill, and it fades to black. Cuts to black
as he smiles with all the drills, like.
Oh, well, I think you ought to leave it ambiguous. I don't think you see his drills, but he does smile, and I think you'd use like sound cues, like the drills start up in his mouth almost. He does like a closed mouth smile.
It's slightly muffled, but it's like, I don't know. So the first one had the vampire. The second one has like a disappeared, driver, and maybe one or two of the passengers disappear during that time as well. Like, it's sort of like and then there was one.
Right, they're disappearing across the course of the game.
Third one, as you said, the taxi. Oh my God, I love that. I kind of like the fourth one to be like a hard boiled,
detective kind of noir sort of thing. Yeah, that could work well. Yeah, I like that
because then your character can be a little bit meta. And you can be talking about it in the third person. It's like, I keep on seeing the vision of this guy in Scrubs. And it doesn't seem quite right because Scrubs shouldn't be invented until,
It's that meta that he even knows that he's in a game almost. It's like, why can't I pick up this coin? It's highlightable, but it's not letting me pick it up.
I went to meet her at the bar. What? She's not here. What? No, it says in the script here that I went to meet her in the bar.
Maybe if I say it again. I went to meet her in the bar. Nope.
Failing that, I went into the back alley where she was waiting, smoking a cigarette. No, shit. And you go back
there and there's like a glitched texture not found. So like it starts to that sort of level of I didn't understand what I was seeing.
There was a magenta.
Yeah. It's just a magenta cube where she should have been.
And in fact, the background before obviously hadn't been completed as it was rather blurred, and they obviously didn't.
It's like it's all the like the high quality versions hadn't popped in, so it's all like the low level detail. It's like LOD4 textures and stuff. But he comments on it.
Examining this closely, I could see that the higher level LODs were not enabled, and it was actually displaying an LOD4 object.
Yeah, it's very specific.
It's like, I have no idea what this text means. Oh my god, there's just... It would be creepy, especially... Creepy as fuck. Like, you look back and it's like, oh no, this guy is there the whole time.
And I love the idea of, in a very, like, the Pony Island guy kind of way, you know, where you bring that stuff in over time. And, like, in Inscription or whatever, like... Inscription's nuts because there's a whole game before it really even gets meta. I mean, it gets a little bit meta, but, like... Just the starting card game is a whole enough. Fucking game. And then it expands out.
I thought for so long it was the game, and then no, it's...
I need to finish that. I never finished it.
Oh, and that card game is so good. Like, it has so much stuff, and it's like, it doesn't feel like it should be finishable, but then you get to the point where, no, it is actually finishable, and look, I kind of cheated my way through it, because I did make a card that was... basically so overpowered that...
Yeah, but I mean, that's intentional, I think, to let you give you a chance that if you're just not good at the base card game, and it's hard, like, it's hard to get through all the stages. But yeah, I like that of... There's a lot of game there before we get meta.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it... You want it to be one of those games where people are like, no, just, like, keep playing. Make sure you play to the end.
So, for those people who haven't checked it out, Daniel Mullins is the designer's name. He's made a whole heap of different things. Pony Island, The Hex, and Inscription are the ones that come to mind. And they do some weird and wonderful things. We've talked about them before on the podcast, but we recommend that you maybe give them a bit of a trial.
And I think this is the first one that's been heavily inspired by his stuff. We've definitely brought him up before, but
I really like this.
That's cool. I love that. We don't do horror that often, but I feel like that's a really good mechanism for it, and to have the sort of multiple layers of it, that each game has its different versions of horror elements, but then there's the meta fucking dentist.
And now it's making me want to kind of go that extra little level, like what Daniel Mullins has done a couple of times, where he'll read from, like, your Steam stats and he'll put up something.
Oh, yeah.
Just as, the taxi one, you could actually say, dude, who's, like, I didn't know that, I didn't realize that you were streaming. It's like, oh.
Right, like, it brings in, like Twitch integration if you're streaming.
Well, no, the idea is, you have someone messaging. It's like,
oh, right, you have someone message. Yeah, I see.
Dude, I didn't know that you streamed. It's like, what do you mean? Yeah, you're currently live on Twitch. You've got...
Yeah, what is this game? There's 467 people watching you. They want to know what's going to happen next. That's cool.
It's Jeremy all along.
God damn it, Jeremy. Fucking dentists. All right. I think that's it for us this week. We definitely found the nug on that one. If you'd like to find all of our previous episodes, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. Leave us a review. Listen to our backlog of episodes. There's a ton of stuff there.
Yeah. And if you like the song that we play at the start and end of each episode, that song is called Mount Defiance off the album Containment Failure by the band Kuradust. You can find it at kuradust.bandcamp.com for free. Go check it out.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
And would you mind if I joined you at your campfire?
Sure, just don't eat my horse.
Ah.